So I started selling on Amazon over 6 years ago now, and during that time I made over hundreds of thousands of dollars, but as of March of this year, I just made my last ever sale. And it's this video where I just want to break down why I'm no longer an Amazon seller, my reasons behind it, and what I'm really planning on doing moving forward. Because at the end of the day, I feel like I owe this video to the people that have watched my content from the start, where I pretty much only made videos about Amazon, and I've just stopped making those videos without no real reason or explanation. Oh, and before I do get started, if you are thinking about doing it, please don't come at me with the it's a you problem, it's not an Amazon problem. I know it's not an Amazon problem. I still have friends running really successful businesses on that platform. This is more me talking about the personal reasons as to why I've stopped selling, and maybe there is some people out there that can probably relate as well. Okay, so when it came down to it, and when it came to me making my final decision, there were three main factors that really just kind of pushed me over the edge to stop selling altogether. And the first one was enjoyment. And realistically, it's as simple as that. I just kind of stopped enjoying selling physical products anymore. Now, this wasn't anything to do with selling on Amazon or any of the business models on there. It just came down to the fact that I just stopped enjoying the process of going out to retail stores, buying products, bringing them back, packaging them up, and then just sending them off. I just stopped enjoying doing that. A good quote I heard recently actually goes by the lines of something like, it's not about how much money you make, it's more about how you make your money. And when I actually apply this to my Amazon business at the time, that really was the case, because I was actually making quite good money from actually selling products on there. But in the last year of doing it, I wasn't enjoying any of it at all. I didn't feel like I was solving any problems. I didn't feel like I had any real ownership of the products that I was selling, because I was selling other people's products and brands. I know obviously I could have gone and did the private label route where I could have gone down that line, but realistically I just didn't want to. I just kind of was sick of the fact that I was selling physical products and it was more just a profit turning machine, and there wasn't really anything to do with it apart from like just analyzing numbers and things like that. Now the next reason why I stopped selling on Amazon is that whilst I was making good money like I just said from Amazon, when I actually weighed up the amount of time that I was putting into the business, something had to change. Because I was running my Amazon business, I want to say around 95% by myself, I was actually having to put around 70 hours worth of work every single week to be able to make that money. And when it came down to it, when I was breaking things down once again with the enjoyment side of things, something just wasn't really adding up. And I know people will come at me saying that I could have outsourced my business to a virtual assistant, I could have sent my products to a prep warehouse and things like that, and I've tried all of those things in the past, but realistically, number one, I didn't really want the responsibility of having to pay somebody else and look after their livelihoods, but more importantly, I didn't really want to commit all of my money, time and responsibility into building something that I didn't really see a future in, which brings me to my last reason. Because one thing I think we can all relate to, whether you're an Amazon FBA seller now and you're absolutely loving it, or whether you've given up in the past just kind of like I have, one thing we can all relate to is that over the years, depending on how long you've sold for, Amazon has just become a harder and harder platform to actually grow a successful business on. Since the day I started selling, I've seen things like the fees go up so much over time. I've also seen more restrictions come into place, which has made my business model a lot harder. And of course, we've seen so many more people come onto the platform because it is an amazing platform to actually make money on. Another thing not to forget as well is because I was a Amazon YouTuber, I was a high target for people trying to find my store and copy my products, which happened a lot, and that's to no fault of my own. I knew what I was getting myself into. I think at one point the top 2 search terms against my name when you put in Christos Fellas was going to be something like Christos Fellas's Amazon store name, and then the other one was like Christos Fellas's company's house, so they could actually get my business name, which would typically then lead them to my Amazon store. And that's absolutely fine. I knew that if I was putting information out on the internet, people were going to want to find out what I was selling, and it did have a negative effect on my actual Amazon business. Now, am I sitting here saying that I think everybody should stop selling on Amazon? Absolutely not. I still think it's one of the best places that you can actually start an online business, and I'll forever be grateful for the opportunities and doors that it's opened up for me. So please don't look at this video as a motivator to stop selling on Amazon or even start your Amazon business in the first place. But I do have a couple of tips for those looking to get started on the platform, just by not learning so much from my mistakes. I wouldn't really call them mistakes, but actually learning from my story. And that is number one, understand that Amazon is an ever-changing platform. Now, that means that if you are doing something that is working really well for you right now, the likelihood is in a year or maybe 2 years time, that will no longer be a thing, because there'll be people that have jumped on it, there'll be more competition. As long as you consistently stay on your toes and keep pivoting with the change, staying ahead of your competition, then you're going to be just fine. The second one is to understand your goals when it comes to Amazon, because when I look at it, there's two main ways that you can kind of go down with your business. Number one is you could do it as a side hustle, which is kind of what I did it in the end, where you're just earning a little bit of money on the side just to boost up your income and things like that. Or number two, you can actually scale and grow an actual business from it. But the reason why it's so important to understand your goals is because if you are looking to build a business or something like that, understand that if you are outsourcing, then your profits are going to take a big hit, and you might just have to break even for a little while before you actually make any profit. And sometimes that can be quite disheartening. Whereas if you're doing a side hustle, you have to understand that you're going to probably have to put a lot more time into it, but you're going to earn a lot more money as well along the way. So as long as you can understand what your goals are from the business, I think you'll be just fine. And number three, and this one doesn't matter if you're doing it as a side hustle or building a 7-figure business or anything like that, and that is just please get an accountant to look after your books. I've seen so many people just get into either trouble or just quit their Amazon businesses overall just because they got so overwhelmed with the numbers when it came to things like VAT, paying tax, they got behind on their payments, and just getting an accountant in and somebody that can just keep you in check will just solve all of this. Luckily for me, this is something that I understood from the start, and it was never an issue, and it was never a reason as to why I actually stopped selling on Amazon. I actually partnered with an accountant called Awesome Accountants, and whilst they are kind of e-commerce specialists and I no longer sell on Amazon, they still look after all of my accounts for my other businesses just because I trust them so much. If you did want to sign up for their service, they are 100% online, and because I am a partner, what I can do is get you £100 off any of the accounting packages that you pick. All you have to do is click the link in my description down below and go ahead and book yourself a free consultation call with one of their tax specialists. And just for full disclaimer, I am partnered with Awesome Accountants, so if you were to go ahead and purchase an accounting package, I would get a small kickback on that sale at no extra cost to you. But I do have to say, it is a service that I actually use myself and I highly recommend them. So that's basically why I've stopped selling on Amazon. I guess let's now talk about what I'm planning on doing in the future. First things first, if you have been watching my content recently, you will know that I've been doing a little bit of freelancing. This is all around video content creation, video editing and things like that. One thing that I can always be grateful for Amazon about is that it actually pushed me to create a YouTube channel, and the video techniques, the video editing and things like that has pretty much stuck with me throughout anything that I've been doing since I started, and it's actually landed me a 9-to-5 job and plenty of other freelancing gigs along the way, and I'm really enjoying it. So freelancing is basically going to be the thing that takes up most of my spare time and the thing that will pretty much replace my Amazon business. The second thing that I'm going to be focusing on a lot more is this YouTube channel. Now, over the last 6 months, I have barely posted on this YouTube channel, and I do really regret it, although life has definitely got in the way. But it doesn't matter what I'm doing, whether I'm selling on Amazon, whether I'm talking about investments, whether I'm talking about freelancing, productivity, self-development, it doesn't matter. One thing that I definitely know is that I love creating content, and from now on, I'm going to start really just focusing on this again. I'm going to start focusing on talking about the things that I want to share, which I think can bring value to my audience or whoever watches my videos. I'm not going to worry about making money through my YouTube channel or anything like that. I'm doing all of that in my freelancing and my other little side hustles. This is just going to be purely for my own enjoyment, and if I can make a little bit of money on the side, then it's a little bit of a bonus as well. But essentially, some of the main topics that I'm going to be covering is I'm still going to be talking about money and wealth and investing and things like that, but I'm also going to be talking a lot about productivity and a lot about self-development, because I feel like I've come a long way as a person in the last year or two, and I really want to just share some of the things that I've been able to change as well. But having said that, I feel pretty content with my life right now. I feel like I've lifted a massive weight off my shoulders in terms of explaining this to you guys, because I was still getting weekly comments asking why I wasn't selling on Amazon or making Amazon content anymore, and I feel that this transparency really just kind of clears the air with all of that, and I feel like I have a clear goal and clear focus on doing the things that I enjoy. Now, I am sorry that if you were kind of sticking around to see if I was going to make Amazon content again in the future, unfortunately that is not going to happen, but I still think it's a really great platform to sell on. But realistically, when it comes to my life, I feel like this chapter has kind of just run its course. But yeah, I hope you enjoyed this video, guys. I'll catch you guys in the next one, and yeah, I hope you can stick around.